Excellent.
We're back with things to say and do and entertainment for you all.
We hope.
We hope.
Yes. Well, we have got a small track record of entertainment, so probably safe bet.
Hopefully. Well, I'm already disappointed. There's 20 people here and 9 likes. What's up, guys? Hit the like button before we arrive.
Oh, disappoint Stuart. You know.
It's gonna be awesome, regardless. It'll be either cringy or awesome. It'll be something to like in this video. So hit the like button.
Well, it will be at least something.
It will be something. Because what are we doing today? I already kind of mentioned it, but
we are doing the last part, the next part, the continuation part of our anthology review series.
Covering all Trek.
Covering all of Trek. We've done it. This is the dessert, the tasty dessert. We aren't reviewing, you know, or ranking, as it were, hundreds of episodes in 1-2 hours. Not even that many hundreds of minutes, really.
I don't know how many hours of Star Trek there are. There's too many, though. There's not too many. Sorry, I shouldn't say that.
Jeez, Stuart.
It's a lot to watch if you're diving in, but you do need more.
Yes. So we're doing all the movies and including a Galaxy Quest edition because that was requested by the fans, and so we have done so. Because the power of the Super Chat is real, Stuart, as you know.
Exactly. Very important, guys. Ozzy said my volume is low, but he's the only one that said so. So can anybody else let me know?
Yes, let us know.
If it needs to be upped, we can up the volume. It's fine.
Doesn't take many seconds. Yes, the movies. Now, I had already said to you this might be a bit easier, but perhaps not.
It'll be a fun discussion regardless. So I'm pleased about that.
Yeah, I feel like we're gonna discuss it because we have to sort of discuss more, perhaps. We know we have differing opinions somewhat, but you guys have the power as well, as you know, especially if there are ones that you think really strong should be higher. You know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start showing.
More production says my volume was a little low, but not bad. So maybe just boost it a little bit. Well, I thought.
There you go. Okay, gonna share now.
Okay, he's gonna go share. So I'm gonna tell you guys the like button. 30 of you here now with 18 likes. It's a lot better. But if you're just joining us, hit that like button. There should be something to like in this video, whether it be me or Sam or both of us, or a conversation, or just the movies we're talking about. Let us know. You have the power as well in this one, guys. Super chats really help out with ranking things, sliding them in their positions. We are covering all of the movies today, and it'll be a fun discussion, I'm sure, but you guys can take part. And if you don't like where something is, you can have the power with the super chat to help get that bumped a little bit. So consider that and help us out any way you can. Please super chat in any comments you have, though. Really appreciate that. Take part in the regular chat. Obviously, hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you click the bell notification icon to all so you don't miss any content from us. And also check out the option of joining the channel. Join the Trekyards fleet. We have a fleet video at the end of all of our edited content. If you want to see your name on a ship being assigned and a rank, you can do so. Hit that join button and look at your options. Or if you don't want to join on YouTube, head on over to Patreon/Trekyards. You can help out over there as well. It's the same ranks, privileges, and perks. Everything applies over there also. Plus, we have the Discord channel, so you guys can hang out with your crewmates and us and have hopefully some good interactions as well. Fleet Paw's here. That's a first. I haven't seen you in a long time, man. I thought you died. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Also, there are links down below to the Teespring, TeePublic, and awayteamgear.com, specifically the Trekyards stuff. If you want some cool Trekyards merch, check out any of those links. Check out all the links. Do what you need to do to help us out in any small way that you can. We obviously really appreciate that, and we want to see you guys wearing our Trekyard stuff because we're quite proud of some of it, all of it, actually. So do so. Definitely help us out in that regard. So, anyway.
And I have returned.
Yes, and Fleetpaw throws in $2. Have no fear. Fleetpaw is here. Hi, Sam and Stuart.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, I was fearing slightly as well, so I'm glad that my fear level has now been reduced.
It's under control now. Fleet Pod's here. We're good. Phew.
I feel better now. Yes, and Stuart, as you know, but you might not be there, there's Drunkyards happening this weekend with Marie. She is back. Very much coming for a Drunkyard, which is very nice of her to actively make the, obviously she has to see me as well, but we were not planning to see each other. But now we are to do a Drunkyards with you all, because we all like them, you all like them. Stuart will hopefully be there, some, lots, a bit. TBD.
Pretty sure I'll be there.
Yes. But I'm excited because she'll be watching Doctor Who with us right before. So if you watch it live as well, for example, we could all talk about it as part of many hours of Drunkyards. And just a fun old time. So that is this Saturday, just after Doctor Who, and because it's a simulcast. If Doctor Who's finished, that means the Trekyards boys and lady are on the internet. Not specifically about Doctor Who specifically, but, we are there.
And what time will that be, just so people know?
Doctor Who is 6:30, 7:30 GMT, so then I assume we'll be on at 8 GMT, just to give us the few minutes to get upstairs and not be like, RUN! But the closest hour to, so I suppose.
So like
8
3
GMT.
p.m. Eastern Standard.
So it's 1 hour earlier than normal.
Standard time. Yeah, perfect.
Yes.
Shouldn't be a problem. I should be able to join. If not, I'll come in at some point.
Exactly. Sure. And as with all things, how drunk we get is entirely up to you, and we look forward to that. This is our big of this month, so help us out if you can and join in. I'm sure we'll talk about next fan film to come out, Doctor Who fan film, and just some Doctor Who stuff that I've got. I've got props right over here, staring at a box of props, etc. And a box of wigs. So if you want to see me and Marie put on wigs, yeah, that's a whole new super chat. $50. Sam put on a wig, and then me and Marie have matching ginger hair. Goodness, because we have got Emma's wigs, so
nice.
That'd be a hell of a thing.
Yeah.
Live face.
Tune in for that on the weekend, guys. Saturday.
Yes.
Saturday.
Yes,
Sunday?
Saturday. Because she can't drink Sunday, because then she'll be driving home.
Gotcha.
See, she's a smart one. That cookie. All right, Stuart.
Awesome.
Oh, actually, I've got an idea for a poll.
He's got a poll idea. Oh my god.
Because this was fun, and I feel like we've now learned how to do these a little bit more. Yesterday was the big challenge of how do we make a very different format work within the format. This is, can we... So I'm excited to do things like the Star Wars movies or the Star Wars properties, add Mandalorian, whatever, with a lot less of a 22 episodes per thing. It's just a thing,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it'll be fun. And I'm looking forward to talking about movies today because there are some really great Star Trek movies. FleetPod says he'll super chat $100 to see Sam go bald.
I could get a bald cap, but I don't think I'd believe it. The wigs are pretty good, so.
A filter would work better.
Yeah. Sure. I could do a picture of it right now if you want, but I don't think. Yeah.
$100 super chat, and he'll use a filter to go bald right now. I don't think that's what he meant at all, but that's okay. Yeah. All right. Make Foley lose his shirt on the pole. No, don't do that. Eric Martin says, so will 5 or 10 be the ass end of the train here? LOL. We'll see. We don't have it set up like a train. We got a new tier slotting system for this one, which is neat. I like having different options for things. And we got movie posters to look at today. So, yeah, we will... That'll be fun. It'll be fun to see how this turns out. You'll see the tier system in a second. It won't really be a train. It's kind of like a rainfall.
And I really like this new one with the rankings in the L cars, and that's great. Very, very nice. Very nice tweak.
So there's the poll, guys. Go vote on it if you haven't already. The poll is there a singular favorite movie or joint favorites only? Only favorite movie of them all. 2 joint favorite movies or more. Lots of bests.
It basically is there one that you're like, nah, it's clearly the best out of all of them. Just for you, even if it's like 1%, is that a singular, or are there variations and like, yeah, that one's better. Oh, there's too many good ones, etc.
Yeah.
All right.
And FleetPod throws in $2. Thrusting nipples of power.
Yes. Basically, yes.
It's very important.
All right, so
All
the
right.
first is Star Trek: The Motion Picture. Let's get it on the board. TMP, Stuart. TMP. Your initial thoughts? I assume it's a ranking in comparison. Oh, what? A ranking compared to each other, or personal enjoyment, or quality of film?
Ooh,
Because
those are
those
three
are
very different things.
yeah. Because personal enjoyment includes nostalgia, because you enjoy it for whatever reason. Quality of film is harder to dispute because things like bad CGI is bad CGI. Or,
But
yeah.
it's all they're all the product of their time as well. You got to keep that in consideration. But
Yeah, when older movies look better than newer movies, it's not a product of their time, it's just bad CG.
yeah, well.
So
I think
how are
we'll
you
do
going to
this-
rate it? How are you going to work this out?
Well, they're Star Trek movies, so they should be
So just to each
Right,
other
that's-
then, maybe.
as Star Trek movies. Yes. Personal enjoyment will play a little factor, I guess, but
Okay, so-
the arguments will negate that, and then it'll get shifted. So
Okay, so it's not necessarily our favourite, because we're going to negotiate around. It's what do we think overall are the best Star Trek movies of the list, and why?
sure,
For all of the reasons put together.
yes.
Okay,
So and
right.
that's when you guys come in.
Yes.
You guys can help with super chats and comments. You can move or bump us if we're being indecisive about something. It's important, so help us out.
And Eric and some people have put great comment. Is it director's or standard cut? Shit.
Take both into consideration.
Oh, but they're so much different. Brett, if you
Well-
want to quickly invent a new graphic for director's cut and theatrical, because I would
do
rate
that.
them differently for sure. Because
That might be another future one at some point.
Gosh.
No, it's just going to be a theatrical version.
Okay, well there you go. Because then there's also the 4K version, which also improves it yet again. Okay.
How does the 4K improve it? Just picture quality?
Well, they refine a few of their problems. Like there are certain bits in the original remastered which, like, I can see a matte line that looks a bit shit, whereas that's a problem with the film. They've removed that, so now it's a cleaner experience.
Yeah.
Like problems with the film, right? Okay.
Well, Eric Martin, $5 theatrical, director's cut of TMP. Well, theatrical.
Okay, theatrical.
Dave and Laura, $2. Start it all. Refit. Klingon music. TNG. V'ger art. All right.
Okay. Go,
Motion
Stuart.
picture for me, initially, as it pops into my head, is going to be a B. I just have a B slot there. And the reason is, I mean, this is the first time we saw the refitted Enterprise. First time we got, and this is a very Star Trek movie. It's very slow in plotting and too cerebral, as the cage was called. It almost doesn't. It isn't a good movie because of how cerebral it is. It's the motionless picture is what it's called, and as a result, it's great on a Star Trek scale, but as a movie as a whole, it would probably be lower. But I think it introduced a lot of things to Star Trek that definitely moved things along, and yeah, a lot of things got dropped for the next movie, but it kept a lot of the aesthetics obviously as well. So I think it's important in the Star Trek realm. So I think honestly, my initial thought is a B.
I would say the original, for me, the release version is a C. Because by no means is it in the echelon higher of the Trek movies. Of the quality of the films.
It is for some people, though. Some people absolutely love the motion picture.
But this is you and me, right?
I know it.
Now,
I know it is.
Now, the
but
remastered version, I would give you a B because it improves a ton of stuff. But the original has so many pacing problems. It's not the most entertaining film ever. It really isn't. We watched the classic version and it does drag. Like all the raw problems they didn't edit it properly, and they knew that.
So-
like the day after, right? Like they knew they fucked up the day after, pacing wise. But there are too many flaws with it.
So should it straddle the line between B and C?
I would say go for C and it's negotiable later because people can make arguments. I just think as a quality of film, it's on the lower end of the spectrum. If you're going theatrical, remastered B for sure, but there's a good line there.
Yeah, it's a good differentiation too. The director's cut would be a little bit higher up.
Yeah.
So.
But you are right. I mean, the Klingons, the designs, all excellent.
Yeah.
But it's like I associate more the TMP Enterprise slightly more with Wrath of Khan for some reason. Even though it's in TMP, I felt maybe the compressedness, the beauty of, I don't know. Wrath of Khan more for me, but yeah.
Keith Jeffrey, 1974, throws in £2. Beauty Shots A.
Yeah.
As a film C. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Eric Martin, $5. Jim, the simple raking is beyond V'ger's comprehension. Yeah.
And it's a funny old film because nothing really happens in it as well. It's kind of a strange
Schindler's
cyclical.
Yeah, where Nomad had gone before.
Mm-hmm.
So many great names for this
and
movie.
Spock's such a dick in it as well. He's
Yeah.
but so I watched the movie when it re-released in 4K. Really good experience in the cinema. Really good. You'd see the details. I loved, and I saw, Spock's so much emotion on his face when he had V'ger's feelings and emotions, and you see all the subtext on his face when he's 30 foot wide. That was good. So it's definitely, I think, a better cinema experience than a TV experience.
Yeah.
But that's not what we're reviewing, right? These are different,
Yeah. The other thing too is there's some weird director's choices in this one, such as the face being perfectly in detail and everything else around it being blurred out. What? It's not even depth of field. It's
Nope.
like Vaseline on the lens. It's what are you doing? And I know that was a choice. I mean,
Yes.
Robert Wise made that choice. I don't know why, but it's distracting in a lot of different scenes. It's even, and that carries over to the director's cut as well. They didn't fix any of that.
No. Yeah.
So,
well, that was the director's choice, and that's the director's cut, right?
Exactly.
But
exactly.
costumes are for the most part bad. Just bad. Sorry.
Except for Kirk's initial Admiral's uniform.
Yes.
I like that one.
Which would have been his standard. So that's a big negative. The bridge is very dull. It's not a good bridge. It's a good baseline for a bridge, but it's very dull.
Mm-hmm.
So else is, and the wormhole sequence, I would have taken it just cut it out. I know it's meant to show a little bit about Kirk's personality, but it doesn't make sense from a Trek perspective. Going to warp has generated a wormhole in the solar system, which then pulls NASA into what wormhole? We can't do wormholes. It doesn't work structurally as a Trek scene. I've always thought it was silly. And it's very long. Let's make the film. You know what I mean? There's some real flaws in the film that if you made it 10 years later, you'd have a much better film. Or 20 years earlier for Nomad, as you said. But yeah, like I said, negotiable at the end based on you guys, but gut reaction C for the director for the standard cut. That's me.
My gut reaction was still a B, so just putting that out there for everybody.
Indeed. Because the thing is, the bar is very high for these films. Well, of course, when we get to the JJ films, the C grade might seem too bad for it. Too low. We'll find out, right?
Yeah. Dave and Laura, though, $2. Come on, the transporter accident. Yes, I know you like the motion picture, Dave, but that's a personal preference thing. A lot of people really like the motion picture and would rank it a lot higher. But for all the things we've just discussed, and being the theatrical release, not the director's, many things, it's going to be at C right now. So
and
you
the
can
irony
definitely
is,
bump it later if you want. But
yeah, if you want. And the irony is, if you made it an hour episode and took out all the fluff, really, really compress it down to an action-packed hour, it'd probably be exceptional, right? Because the visuals would be movie grade, the pacing would be really solid. You cut out 50% of the movie, pretty much 40% of the movie, but structurally, probably an excellent episode. Just really big budget,
Well, next up, of course, is the Wrath of Khan. Pull that baby down. And it's just Nicholas Meyer just hit it out of the park with this one.
Yeah, I guess I'm first on this one. I mean, it is exceptional. It takes characters and gives them all the depth in the world from Spock and Kirk, but in a very realistic, grounding way. They're heroes that are old, which seems boring, but it's strongly satisfying and interesting. Radical Kirk's son is very interesting. Good casting by everybody. Genesis is a wonderful device with the first use of CG, computer-generated effects. Still looks fun today, while a little bit old. Still looks fun. Pacing's excellent. Giving Chekhov a real set of scenes is very satisfying. The first second Starfleet ship ever.
Yeah.
It holds up today. Looks beautiful. The space battle is excellent, even today, without any remastering. Just is excellent. Yes, it's submarine-y, but that's the fun of it. The costumes are excellent. Obviously, the same sets looked a ton better because of redesign. Excellent. Music is excellent. Khan is obviously super, and it's another
literally super. He's a Superman.
There you go. All those dances around him, and it's Mandela effect. You think they had time together, but they didn't. Never met on set, in a scene together, and you have all this personal connection, which shows how good they both are. Just a triumph of a film. There's a few things that date it, but considering it's 40 years old, there's the fact that only a few stand out how well the film looks and how well it was shot. The basic effects are really, really nice, and those miniature shots are never going to look like garbage. They're always going to hold up. Maybe we can't see the interiors in the rooms. Yeah, okay, but apart from that, they look amazing. No.
The introduction of the Monster Maroons, the darker feel, the edgier tone, the way Kirk's dealing with being old at 50. Like, I'm going to be 50 next year, and I don't feel as pathetic as Kirk felt in that movie. Yeah. True, I haven't had the life he has either, but...
age was a bit different in the 80s. Oh, you're a great-granddad at 60. And I was like, wow, my first kid at 50. Nice! Got my teen son at 60. It's like, okay.
Yeah. I'm very happy to put this as an S tier. For me, it absolutely is.
I mean, what's not good about it?
Some people are screaming it should be F for some reason, so I don't know.
They're obviously joking. I mean, the regular one set design is not exceptional. It's only good. Oh wow, only good. But that's because it was only a little bit of the film, right? That wasn't where the budget was going. And they didn't mention why Chekhov wasn't on the ship. Wow, plot holes. Like, it's 400
it's
people.
Not a plot hole. He was on the ship. It's fine.
250 is fine. Like, I mean, in no ways an A. This is top tier Trek, right? I mean, this is a film that actually works as a film as well. Despite it being a full sequel, they set it up well enough, based on the actors' reactions. God, like there's elements that say exactly who he is and why he is and how pissed he is. You don't need to have seen Space Seed. That's incredible. Like a sequel without needing to see the first one. Amazing.
Yeah, I'm happy to keep it at S tier for right now.
Yep.
It deserves it. It's the one everybody calls out. So, Matthew DeFridas, $2. Rathacon is great, but it ain't Star Trek. A tier. It did change a lot of the Star Trek aspects to be more militaristic and such, but it's still A tier. Because let's be fair, Starfleet is a military organization, despite everyone saying it's not. Clearly is. So
Matthew doesn't like any of DS9? Because DS9 is way darker than Rathacon.
Guess not.
I mean, obviously I'm generalising, but there's a lot more to generalise with.
Yeah. And Fleetpaw, $5. Rathacon, S tier, very satisfying. Doubters display... Doubters display two-dimensional thinking in their tactics. It's by far in my top 3. Yes, absolutely.
Because it's also just a very good movie. Some of these aren't necessarily the best movies, but are good Trek films. This is a good movie as well. And
it's a good movie for
on lower budget.
Audience, yeah. And let's not forget, Nicholas Meyer was not a Star Trek fan, but he went back and he watched all the original episodes. He recast Ricardo Montalban as Khan. He continued that story. He did.
He brought back. He didn't recast him. He brought him back.
That's what I meant. Yeah, he recast the actor in the same role, so he cast him. Anyway,
cast him again. Didn't recast him. Yes. Excellent.
Anyway.
But yes, I mean, of course, the uniforms are too militaristic. Blah blah blah. So First Contact. Blah blah blah. Everyone loves them. Blah blah blah. All right, 3.
Search for Spock, and this one I'm glad I get to go first because I fucking love this film. This one gets a bit of a bad rap, but you got to think.
Hotel room key. What are you saying?
You got to think. We got the Klingon bird of prey. We got the Merchantman ship. We got the Oberth class. We got the Excelsior class. We got Space Stock. For ship fans like me, I absolutely love this one. If I could only watch 3 Star Trek movies throughout the whole of existence, it would be the Rathacon, Search for Spock, and the Voyage Home, because it's a complete trilogy. This one gets, I think, a little bit heckled by the fans, a little bit I don't know why people don't like it. I mean, Krug was amazing. Christopher Lloyd did a fantastic job with that. The Genesis planet's a little bit of a Hail Mary as far as getting Spock back, but it's fine for what it is, honestly. I love that Nicholas Meyer initially didn't want to see the coffin on the Genesis planet with the hope that Spock could come back at the end, but he put it in reluctantly.
Well, he didn't shoot it.
Off.
It was just in the movie.
Yeah, and Leonard Nimoy directed this one, so it was kind of Leonard Nimoy's working on it, but he's the director. It wasn't so it wouldn't spoil the return necessarily, even though it is the search for Spock. Doesn't mean they found him. It's not the finding of Spock. It's the search. So I think the way they did that was kind of great. The destruction of our beloved Enterprise. The Enterprise to me is it's a character, and it is my favorite character in all of Star Trek. Yep. Sure, it's sad to see it go and get destroyed, but at the same time, it's an epic moment. It hit me a little bit harder than Spock dying in Wrath of Khan, honestly. But where are we going to go from here? What kind of ship are we going to have? It was such a great movie, and it kind of almost had the Empire Strikes Back feel to it, where it's like, this is a dark ending, like, ooh, but not, because Spock at the end, he's back up and walking, and he's like, your name is Jim, and then that's it. So there was a lot of questions after it, and I know the comics tried to fill things in. They had the Excelsior for a little while, things like that, which is kind of interesting as a side note, as beta canon. I think this deserves at least an A, but possibly an S. Like, I don't know what would pull it out of the S for me. For me, it's an S, but I understand a lot of people have issues with it, and I don't know why. So I'm interested to hear some thoughts.
Well, you say that they have issues. What issues do they have that they have? What have you heard then that make people dislike it?
I have no idea. The costuming. I hate Chekhov's Quaker outfit that then changes a little bit. Just stupid stuff like that.
Because that should make a whole episode terrible.
I know.
One guy's costume.
The weird pink colors of everybody's clothes. They all have kind of weird.
Kurt looked cool. Kurt's jacket was great.
I agree. They do mess up one thing. They do say the Enterprise is 20 years old. The Enterprise is at least 40 years old at this point, but that's just a scripting problem. Dave and Laura, though, $2. Someone is stealing the Enterprise. Yes. Epic scene. Fleet Pod, $2. The Search for Spock, S tier. Much ship porn. Cried at the Enterprise. And Sergeant Montgomery,
Melissa's here.
S tier. The Wrath of Khan never likes to lose. Yeah.
Good to see you,
anyway,
Melissa.
So what are your thoughts on this one? What would you rank it as?
Oh, do you want to go straight to the end of my long drawn-out sentence?
No, I want you to say everything, but I'm just asking up front.
I would probably say A, but the highest tier of A. Just because there is a quality difference between Wrath of Khan and Search for Spock. And so to highlight the S-ness of one, I'd want to put the other one in the A. But that's because the film itself isn't quite as good as Wrath of Khan. But as you said, there are more elements for us. My God, there are more elements for us, right?
Much bigger budget, you could tell.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it's the universe expanding movie, and it's shocking that everything's a hit. Bird of Prey, Oberth, Excelsior, and the end? Excelsior at the end? No, but yeah, middle.
You get Excelsior.
Yeah. So all these designs are good. People like them all. That Bird of Prey lasts is still a universal iconic design up until this day, etc. Always been clear on, will always be clear on. Genesis planet, I mean, the fact they built a reasonably good planet set on a set, it's not like groundbreakingly good, but it's passably good, and certainly some bits are excellent, some bits not so good. The fact that it cracks apart at the end and fire, it's an impressive sequence for an entirely studio-bound element. It's great.
Can I read one comment?
Yeah.
Melissa DeLong says, every scene is great, but I think people didn't like it because it was only part of the story. Yeah, but people love The Empire Strikes Back, and it's only part of the story.
Ooh.
So I don't understand. I get why you're saying that, but at the same time, I'm...
And just so you know, Stuart, Melissa was a VFX supervisor on Picard, season 3.
Yes, I'm aware.
Hey! And it is true, there is a certain unepicness about the story as being the middle. Even though it sounds as if it should be epic, for me, it doesn't feel as epic. Which is odd, because the literally planet is formed and destroyed, but it doesn't feel as epic. Because there's a lot more medium scenes of excitement level, even though in theory they should be big. Which is odd, I don't know why, but I've obviously watched this film for decades. So this is a thing I have, because I've watched it a lot. But they use a lot of the cast, everyone's kind of there. At least they feel, not being in the same uniform helps, they're all there. A lot of the iconic quotes are from this. Don't call me tiny. Had enough of you. After just murdering Krug. Just flat out cold-blooded murder. You know.
I'm working on it.
But even though it's a sucky thing to do, it's like, yeah, you just killed your son. Try to kill Spock. I mean, he's allowed to be pissed and do it. I mean, I've always loved the ending, personally. Get on the bird of prey. The possibility of what that could mean. And the fact it is paid off for a full episode on a bird of prey, which then, Melissa, back in season 3. Not that you worked on that scene, but hey, bird of prey. Bounty. Beautiful music at the end. The music's very good. Flying into Vulcan, seeing it properly. Mount Leia, that's lovely. Savik's cameo. The whole getting the cupboard. Weird, although it is sad they threw away Uhura, because she has a great scene. They threw her away. Chekhov is just there. Sulu is just there. He really is. Kirk, Krug, even Maltz has more to do, than Sulu. Chekhov. Sulu has a fun few scenes. But it's kind of the trifecta, but with Krug being the last one, or the additional. So it feels like an ensemble piece, but it really isn't. But it's different ensemble, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, I put it at a very high A. Something about it doesn't reach S for me. As a filmic structure.
I think the recasting of Savik as well to Robin Curtis from Christiali was something that people might complain about, but I'm very happy to put it at an A, honestly.
And I like both Saviks. They're both very different and very good. And she has a lot more to do in this film. And let's be honest, she's a lot less hard-assed. She's a lot more scientist-y. The other Savik is a far more like military officer.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have bought either person in the other person's script as played, because they don't quite fit the same vibe.
One thing I do want to say, though, is we have 71 people watching, which is awesome. Hit that like button. We only have 43 likes. I want to get up to 50. If you haven't hit the like button yet, I don't know why not. Please do. And Skeleton Strange New World's #1 fan throws in $5. It says, my only issue with Search for Spock is why aren't more movies that fantastic? It's really fun. I really enjoy
it is very
this
fun.
one. This is one of my favorites, and I don't know why it gets poo-pooed by the fans so often. I don't understand. But hey.
Yeah.
I'm willing to give it an A. I'm willing to give it an A for whatever reason. So.
Oh, and the battle damage. They got the continuity of the movie goddamn wrong. Battle damage of the Enterprise. It's like, god damn it.
Well, there's beta canon that explains that, if you want to believe it.
They didn't bother putting the movie. Didn't bother. But it's a really, really fun movie. It really is. And as you say, it's a goddamn cool trilogy. And never intended to be. Never planned to be. Just kind of happened, and it's shockingly good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, retiring the Enterprise for 20 years is silly. And the disrespect is silly, and... Yes.
Yep.
But yeah, very happy to give it the toppest tier of A, but isn't quite... I think the Genesis stuff is a little bit great, but not amazing. Probably the planet stuff, as someone said, isn't... It's not quite as sharp as it could be. That said, the Krug strangle scene is phenomenal, the stab scene is phenomenal, the kick is very good.
Let's not forget the first use of CG, a CG segment in a movie with the whole Genesis creation scene. That was like cutting edge.
Still looks nice. It's so good they used it twice in the next movie. Because they're expensive. Okay, excellent, good. Okay, my go now. Voyage Home is the most Star Trek movie, and yet the least Star Trek movie, as I'm sure Stuart will say at some point. It is the City on the Edge of Forever of the movies. Just like Wrath of Khan, it's a very good movie, and somehow doesn't need you to know the cast to like it, because everyone kind of has their own unique stories that they're fully encompassed on. It's fun, it's silly, it's the exact opposite of the last film. It's almost entirely out of studio, give or take. It's funny, it's light, it's fun, it's very memorable for use of the bird of prey, both looking exteriorly beautiful. The interiors are good. I wouldn't say they're incredible, but they're good. It would have been obviously nice if they had been, the Martok set. That would have been kind of cool to see but they're good. They feel a bit too. The bridge feels a bit too much like the TOS Enterprise. They've restructured it to be more like their Enterprise when it wasn't, and it's fine, but could have been the more Alien of. But it's fine. Just it feels like, well, let's make it more TOS. Whatever. The heads is fun. George and Gracie are wonderful. The plot's great. The fact that it's literally saving Earth from we can't do anything, we're doomed. Well probe. I mean, how many movies, TV shows, stories, comics make a silver tube feel epic? It's a goddamn tube. With a little. It's a tube. It's very intimidating, especially when you realize how big it is, because it's a giant tube. Having now done an entire film with the whale probe and spending God knows how many hours matching the effect, so satisfying when you get looking right with the bruh 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 bruh. Oh, it gives you chills of how powerful and cool it is. That tube! And there's a shot in my film that you'll see where the Horizon, my ship is a big ship, is next to the ball, and it's not even the diameter of the ball. And that shows you scale. So I know a lot about the whale probe. Really good movie. I mean, again, filmically, S, but I could be argued to an A. There's a couple of issues, or a couple of areas they could do cooler things with, or put some more money in. But as a film, it's extremely good, and almost memorable for filmic reasons. There you go.
I want to put it as S because it is the most accessible Star Trek film to everybody. Everybody knows this. The whale one. It's got the most comedic aspect to it and spin, even though they're in a dire situation. It's the most ensemblistic of these TOS
so
films.
Nice to see.
Everybody gets things to do, and they're all fantastic, and they're all kind of funny in their own way. It really shows off all of their character traits, and I think everybody has fun, and it shows.
Except Savick, who's stuck on the planet.
Well, yeah, but anyway, it's definitely, and it's some good footage as well of the ships drifting, and you get some really cool shots of Starfleet headquarters kind of getting wrecked, and it's pretty awesome.
The window holder up poles. Okay.
Yeah. One of my biggest complaints is the Klingon bridge, which changed between Star Trek 3 and Star Trek 4 for various reasons. As you said, the setup was a little bit more TOS-like, and also being able to fit the whales in the bird of prey. I've seen many things over the years that explain that, and I'm fine with it. It's fine. But when you see it compared to that whaling ship, it's like, can it though? Does it fit? Yeah, it's one of those things. The ending was also super cool, seeing them heading towards the Excelsior, and I was kind of like, oh no, I didn't like the Excelsior design as much as I do now. Back then, I was like, no, please don't. And sure enough, no, we didn't. We got the Enterprise A. I like the bridge, even though it's just the Rathacon bridge painted white, and if you turn the camera, you would have seen Rathacon's scorch marks still.
Yep.
But I do appreciate that bridge. We've talked about that when we did our bridge rankings as well. So there's a lot to like about this one. I'm super happy to put this in an S tier because it definitely is the best of and the most accessible of the original series cast movies.
Well, it's extremely unique, extremely fun, extremely memorable, a good message that's not overdone, even though it is literally a scene to talk about the bad messaging of the current world of that time, but it doesn't feel it for some reason. The fact that all the whales in the water animatronic is very impressive.
Yeah.
I didn't know that until like 3 years ago. Really impressive.
And it could have been so much worse. They were going to cast Eddie Murphy. They're going to cast Eddie Murphy as the role of Gillian Taylor, not as obvious. He would be somebody else, but he would be. It would have changed
Julian
the
Taylor.
movie immensely. Yeah, it would have changed the movie immensely, and it wouldn't have been the same thing. So I'm glad that he didn't end up doing it, even though he's a huge Star Trek fan.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of story behind this one, and again, directed by Leonard Nimoy, did a fantastic job tying it in with the bird of prey, having the ability to cloak so you can land
as
on
if
Earth.
it was planned, but it wasn't.
Right? Exactly.
Feels planned.
So yeah, I don't have to keep talking it up. It's an S.
It's also genuinely very funny and heartwarming.
Yeah,
and that's not. It didn't need to be. It's both a hardcore sci-fi, a hardcore period piece, a hardcore save the universe piece, a hardcore environmental piece, and a hardcore family piece. And the fact that versus the last film, Nimoy's only in like 6 minutes of the whole film or whatever. He's in a lot of scenes, and he directs himself very well. And it's fun to see him direct in full makeup and costume, which of course is just a bathrobe, but you know, yeah. And as if this one's all the great stories.
And Fleetpaw throws in $2 and says, "The Voyage Home, S tier, many one-liners, double dumbass on you," and so forth. Dave and Laura, $2. Just a damn minute, Admiral.
Yeah. And the recrystallized lithium, which is the thing discovery. Guys, do you agree with our rankings so far? Yes, no, or shush? Yes.
Let us know. 80 people here now, which is awesome. We have 51 likes, which is also awesome. But I want to get higher than that now because we have 80 people. So let's get to 75 likes. Hit that like button if you haven't already. Please go vote in our poll. Super chats help us make decisions here with these ones. So by all means, super chat in your thoughts and where you think it should be. Give us a reason. We're willing to nudge things if we need to. We're going to be overlapping some of these tiles at some point because there's not enough room. But that's okay.
Would you like to do a gentle swapperoo and you handle Final Frontier and I handle Undiscovered? Because you've got the argument for Final Frontier. Would you like to swap? Or should
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Take it away, Stuart. Final Frontier.
All right. Star Trek V: The Final Frontier is not as bad as everybody says it is. I rather enjoy it for multiple reasons. No, it's not S tier. Not even close. But it's better than a lot of people say it is. The fact that William Shatner's directing is neither here nor there. He kind of got screwed on his budget and a lot of script changes as a result. So I feel bad for the guy. But there's a lot of stuff to like here. You got a really nice new bridge. You got the trifecta of Kirk, Spock, and McCoy perfectly played out like it was on TOS. I think they have some really good moments. That being said, it kind of takes away from everybody else's moments a little bit. They don't have anything really cool to do, except Chekhov does get command. I mean, you got the introduction of Sybok, a half-brother for Spock. It's the only sibling he, will ever be revealed to have, so that's cool. Before I continue, Eric Martin, $5. I'm good so far. Ride gets bumpy from here. Not really. The visual effects were different because they had to go with a different company, and it kind of shows. But at the same time, I like a lot of the visual effects. There's some really interesting shots. I would argue that they're different, but they're still good. They could have been better, probably. But the idea of Shakara, like a god type being, is fantastic because it is very TOS. Again, a very TOS feeling story. And you got a 3-breasted alien. Well, 6. I think he has 6 boobs. The cat lady. Anyway, regardless, there's a lot to like here as well. And so should I give my initial thoughts on where it belongs? I want to say B tier because honestly, I enjoy this one and it's a fun ride. It's way more actiony than the motion picture. If you had to ask me which I'd rather watch, I'd probably say Star Trek V. Plus you get a jailbreak scene and that's kind of cool. So I want to say B, but I'm more than willing to capitulate and say lower.
B for barricade?
Yes.
Oh, Trekyards organic.
Dave and Laura, $2. What does God need with a starship? And Matthew, $2. You don't ask the Almighty for his ID. Yeah, there's some very quotable lines in here.
Very quotable. Like the back of my hand. Boom.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing, Scotty. It's embarrassing. Just because the Enterprise is 40 years old, /20/new. Yes, so this is the first of the debatable ones. I'm sure you'll agree this is the first film of the 5. Yep, obviously 5. Where we've now reached there are high highs and extremely low lows.
Yes.
Because TMP there's some very high highs and a lot of mediums and a couple of lows, but there's not really low lows. This is the first one where we're actually going into low territory. So then contrast becomes important. There are some scenes that are excellent. and charming and funny and cute and well directed, well acted, well paced. Great. But this is the opposite of the last film, as you said. This is not an ensemble piece, and the cast actually revolted some of Shatner's choices to not do some of them because they disagreed so strongly. Originally, Nimoy was meant to go against, or one of the two was go against Kirk to make him the single action fighter, and the actor said, "No, we're not doing this." Bill, shut the no. The fact that there's so poorly structured main narrative that your lead actors say no and make you rewrite it, that's a really bad sign. Like George Lucas, with his full power of creativity, there's some weird choices. Shatner can direct actors, and I've heard many behind the scenes stories. He's a good director, and he's very nice, and he works with you. It's the script in the scenes that he's not good in, and it's the overall story, right? And then things like getting to the center of the galaxy that day. You can't do it. Broken.
Well, that's going to be brought up. That's going to be brought up again with some other movies, I'm sure.
And the Bird of Prey. You can't say it's a new ship. Like some broken structural things, but the two Klingons are excellent. I mean, they're the fun pair for a reason. The bridge we're going to stick with for a very, very long time now. That is the bridge. Gorgeous design. The thing, excellent. All the casting for the Nimbus 3 guys are good. They're all fun. Underused, underdeveloped, fun, but all good. Nimbus is a boring, shitty-looking place, because guess what? It's a boring, shitty-looking place. Success! But it's not fun to look at. I don't enjoy those scenes particularly, and I enjoy skipping them in the sense of, like, the good scenes happen in Enterprise, right? They could have done that nicer, in a lot better ways, etc. But the ideas are good, but it's not innately interesting to watch. I don't enjoy the bar stuff, but then the stuff with Chekhov's good. Cyborg, phenomenal casting last minute. He absolutely helps the movie. So much, because you could watch in any movie. You should have brought him back in some way. He's great. I hope Cyborg comes back in season 3 of Stranger Worlds and 4 and 5, whatever. But yeah, there's lots of plot holes because Shatner's not obviously a good director when it comes to stories. How you zipping up the turbolift, streaming decks, the fact that I think only 12 people can fit in the shuttle, so 12 people armed with rock firing guns and 6 hand phasers can take on 250 people on a ship, 100 of which are armed personnel who you know and put in this. You can't take over the ship like that. Nor is this power of I can take your pain. Are you saying they are saying that all you have to do is remove Chekhov's that one-time Chekhov got a B in astrophysics. If you make him lose that pain, he'll rebel against his commanding officer, accept a court-martial, and follow a crazy non-person. You know what I mean? Like, structurally, there's so many broken elements of this story that don't work. Just flat out don't work, don't make sense, aren't logical. But things are good. As a fun ride, but it's the most broken of these films so far. Any retort to those once I've put those out?
No, there's you brought up all the bad. It is the most broken of the films to this point, yes.
But that said,
that being said, I don't know if you were going to say this. It originally had a much different vision.
Yes,
and unfortunately, due to budget cuts, things had to be changed. The ending had to be rewritten. A lot of things kind of went out the window, and that was all going on the fly.
Yes.
So to be his first shot at the director's chair, it's really unfair to say that this is a bad movie because William Shatner directed it. He was dealing with a lot offset.
The thing is, the ending I've not really got a problem with. It's fine, but the stuff that is broken is the stuff that he had a hand in creatively doing. That stuff he had early on. The film would look nicer, but having rock monsters at the end would not have made the film less broken, right? Like, that is not an affected, you know what I mean? So those elements are still there. I can't go higher than a C because I think it's motion picture level. The bad is really bad in this list, but there's some very good. But I think a mid C is as far as I'm willing to go, personally. What do you think?
C, I still think the B slot for me but that's personal enjoyment creeping into it. So I want to get.
And I do enjoy it too. I do enjoy it. I just know there are more flaws.
I want everybody to spam the chat right now with B or C tier or wherever you think it belongs. So we got 1 C.
And super chats will genuinely make this a final choice for us. If you want to jump in, you can.
Dave and Laura, $2. Uhura gets naked. A.
Yeah, but she's like a 50-year-old woman. I don't want to see that. I never want to see that. She's grey. Maybe when I'm 50 I will, but she's a grey-haired old lady.
Until you're 60.
Yeah, but...
So we got C tier, B tier,
now
C
Savick.
tier, D tier, D tier, B tier, B tier, B tier.
Wow, this is some contrast.
It's the same ones.
Oh, yeah, fair. Montgomery.
B, D. You guys. Somebody super chat in with a tier so we can place it. I mean, we got an A tier, but it's not getting that.
It's literally either B or D. And I'm not going to say D. It's the good is still good, right? And he's a good director of actors. He really is. He has some good performances, some good funnies. The brilliant 2S communicator.
There's a lot of B tiers. Look at all the B's that are showing up from different people.
Yeah.
I'm happy to put it in B for now. It might move.
Well, as you said, I do like some of their effects work. I like the fact that the only film to use actual screen for the view screen, that's real. I liked them using the real projected screen when the shuttle seeing the Enterprise through the window. That was nice. Bird of Prey looks okay. The fact they built like custom gut is great.
People are going to revolt if they just tune in now and see this above the motion picture, right?
But I have a director's cut, right? Like director's cut is definitely better than Far Frontier.
Yeah.
At least in the same whatever. Like, you know, hey, people vote with your whatevers, you know.
Well, Fleet Pod $2, B tier, maybe high C, but no lower. Shannon Nash $2. The Final Frontier equals a B.
Right.
Franz Marth Booth $2, a B.
Hey, there you go. The audience has it.
B tier. Yeah.
Would you agree a low B?
Yeah.
Okay.
B minus.
B minus. Okay. All right. See, you guys have the power. We are not joking.
So the Undiscovered
So
country.
we've swapped. Yeah, so I'm going to handle this one. Undiscovered Country. Right, now this one is a strange one. Right? For me personally, I love it. Except for 20 minutes that I skip. And that's a strange feeling for any film. Because Robopenthe to me is dull. Dark. Fine. But I've seen it enough times to never have to see it again. However, the stuff the Enterprise, which is a lot of stuff, is very good. Excellent story, excellent character work. The fact that the crew are so old in their ranks, everyone should be having their own ships at this point. You know, like high-end rank, their own ships, but all choosing to stay in the Enterprise. So everyone has this air of experience to them until you get to Uhura's books and not knowing Klingon.
That's what you would say in Starfleet Battles is a legendary crew.
Of course, that is a ridiculous thing because it's stupid. The space effects are excellent. Kronos 1 is an excellent redesign. The casting is phenomenal. Chang, Gorkon, Azat Burr, President, all stellar. Sulu getting his own ship, stellar. The bridge retweaked, excellent. The fact that this is also retconned, improved thanks to flashback is excellent. The pacing's very good. The fact that we start with Excelsior, you know, you can't make a new Star Trek. Kirk and his crew. Obviously, we've got TNG at this point, so you can. But you could have argued, it's Kirk and his crew. We're gonna start with Sulu and his crew, and it's so quaint. Hyper memorable. Goddamn, if you don't want Excelsior show just from that one scene, he's fantastic in the role. Still feel pissed for life. He never got his own even miniseries or movie standalone. He would have been phenomenal. The fact this is a hardcore political piece without feeling hardcore political in the real world sense, and of course, no one now who is newly now can appreciate the Berlin Wall. It's so far in the past in modern memory. You know, it's pre-internet, all the stuff we know, young people know today. So now it's just a movie about the Klingons. But at the time, it was right now, super present, to the point of being obnoxious potentially, like a World War II movie in 1937, right? But all the things it's good at, it is top of its game. But for me personally, I can happily skip all of Robopenthe instantly and make it a better movie. Personally. I would say A, because of Robopenthe. You can't take a 20 minutes movie and say yes. You can't. It's not fair to the RSs. I wouldn't skip anything Wrath of Khan or Voyage Home. All of it is solid.
My initial thought was an S, but I'm going to get to that in just a second. Strange New Worlds #1 fan, $10. This is for Star Trek 5.
Yeah.
B tier, even though I don't like Discovery, I could never understand how fans got so angry about Spock having a sister still in the franchise after he didn't have a brother until 5.
But it's different when you've only had 4 movies and 2 seasons versus 800 episodes and 12 movies and no one ever mentioned it ever. It's a little bit different. But yeah.
I know my initial thoughts for this for S, but I really want to put it in A now because, like you said, the Repente stuff isn't the best. I don't hate it. I will never skip anything in a movie. That's not how movies are made. So I will refuse to do that. However, another thing that bothers me with this one is the reuse of the TNG sets. Like you can tell, you can see the cost cutting in this, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I love the new bridge.
Yeah. The red leather.
The Uhura scene with the book is really freaking stupid, and that was put in at the director's request.
It is funny, though.
Even though it was argued against, and I agree. It is funny.
But it's disrespectful.
Sulu having the Excelsior, gotta love that. And just the battle. I mean, the battle at the end, the thought of a vertebrate that can fire while cloaked is fantastic.
Yes.
Some of the space shots are a little bit odd to me, especially when the torpedo goes through the saucer.
It's ambitious. I mean, for 1992.
No, I'm not saying it's bad.
Right.
It's odd because when the torpedo's approaching the ship, the way that the lights are on the bottom of the saucer don't look right.
Right. Yep, I know.
And that explosion scene gets reused multiple goddamn times.
But this was the first one, so that's
It was
negative. Oh no! Wait, last one. This one's supposed to be.
That's the first time it was used. Yes. I'm going to put it in the A slot. I normally say this is one of my favorites, and it is. It's right up there with Wrath of Khan for me. But as a complete piece, and not seeing cost cutting, because I can see the cost cutting in those corridors, I can see the cost cutting in the engineering room,
transport room.
Boom, boom, boom. It's very much a fantastic movie. It's a good send off for the original cast.
Very good.
It's an A tier.
And
There's not much argument.
I've never had a problem with these reuse of sets except the TNG engineering room, because that one's obnoxious because you can't see the warp core fully in the shot, but you can see the reflection of the room in the plastic of it. Like, you see the room in a reflection, which means you know it's TNG. You can get away with, like, if they change the color of the you could have done more stuff with it. But I this is the best kind of bottle show until it goes out of the bottle, right? And you know what? I don't love space racism, but this isn't space racism as I would class it. This is, I know so many people that got killed because these people, they're really mean. I fought them for a decade. We were trained at the academy to know that Michael Burnham started a war with them, and then they suicide bombed and killed over half our fleet, while I was an ensign, really bad stuff. And Uhura, Ach, Dach, Bech, Duch! I saw them sing once on a view screen. It scarred me for life. When I was young, an ensign on the Enterprise, on the bike. I'm okay to be, don't like. You're allowed to not like Nazis, right? You're allowed to not like them. So it's good and interesting to see them as humans. It's interesting, right? Mm-hmm. But they still do it. That's the point. That's why it's interesting, because Kirk's allowed to dislike them or hate them. And yet he still does everything he has to do cordially, and I love his acting. Everything in his being is saying, but he gives them the tour. He's pleasant, polite, talks through dinner. Yes, he talks some smack, but that's talking, right?
It is cultural, not racist. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. And wartime PTSD. If it's the Romulans, it'd be the same thing, or the Gorn or Tholians, right? If they also killed his son, whatever. Yeah, so I like to say strong A, but I can't, in contrast, give it the higher. When you have a scene, it's not that I'd skip, but I'd go on my phone. There's not enough in those scenes I enjoy to actively watch them and enjoy them. Versus the rest of the film.
Keith Jeffrey, 1974, £5.
Thank you.
The Undiscovered Country, S. Captain Sulu. Flyer apart then.
That's just.
Matthew DeFreitas, $2. She's ready, Jim. Lock and load. Fire. Easily an A+. Yeah, I would say A+. Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't want to be hypocritical to myself, you know?
Klingon blood being pink. Yeah, that was that was so it wouldn't be red and get an R rating. Bad decision in my opinion, because we see Klingon blood being red multiple times throughout TNG, and I do like the one episode of Discovery where they showed both red and pink blood, which different blood type for Klingon. That's fine, but it was just
northern blood Klingons.
Yeah, exactly. It was just a weird choice, but yeah, it's a small thing.
I think it's stylistically a really good choice in this movie. It gives that whole scene a fun vibe. Although I still...
Well, there's a scene where I don't even know his anatomy, Jim. Seriously? You're a goddamn Starfleet medical... Like, you're chief medical officer of the flagship. You know the Klingon anatomy. I'm sorry, but you know the anatomy. That shit bothered me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Mbenga fought them and whatever on the Enterprise earlier than you, and then he served under you for years. He never bothered teaching you... I mean, read a goddamn book! They're not that difficult.
They had him in the last movie.
Have in this movie?
Same movie, yeah.
Yeah, you are very right. I mean, that is an obscenely stupid thing to say. Now, do you... okay. Would the ranking change? It shouldn't, but go with me. If that was Savick and not Valeris, how would that affect the final score ranking?
Say that again. The final scene with Valeris.
How would it change your ranking in this list if it had been Savick and all the canon of the three movies of Savick versus Valeris? How would that have changed or not?
I would have hated that. I'm glad they didn't do that to Savick. I'm glad somebody spoke up and said no. That was written for Savick. I'm glad somebody spoke up and said, no, we need to change his character because, yeah, I think Valeris is a good call-out. Although I'm mad at Leonard Nimoy because Kim Cattrall did a nude photo shoot on that bridge and he destroyed all the pictures. That's very selfish and shameful.
What's wrong with him? The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the one, Spock.
Yes, exactly. Fleet Paw, though, $20. I will argue the Uhura book scene. She was trying to speak and translate an obscure, hardly used dialect. As someone with more than passing knowledge of Klingon, Morscan is very hard. Different rules than Klingon A tier. That's nitpicky. That's beta canon bullshit.
It was just
She's
some
supposed to be a
guy.
linguistics expert.
It was just some guy at some outpost. He's going to be speaking in the equivalent of Klingon Basic. He's some drunk guy at a colony.
The military uses.
Yeah. He's going to be the most basic he's not going to speak, the 14th dialect of the House of Claglor. And every Klingon goes up to him and says, sorry, say it again, Jaffer. No. Clearer. Say it clearer. No.
Spit the cum out of your mouth and say it clearly. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud?
Yes. Cheers. Yeah, and I do agree, not with that bit, with the Savick bit. Savick is her own character, which now Captain Enterprise B, I think they said C, B, A, B, maybe B, whichever. No, it's Titan. Thinking, because I mean, really, Valeris is Savick 1. She played like Kirstie Alley, right? The hard nosed, but more hard-assed. Yep. Very good in the role. You don't want to like her, but you get it. Savick would have been a much stronger gut punch, especially to bring the actress back. I mean, it would have been really, really, really powerful and acted differently, right?
You wouldn't have seen it coming with the new character. Kind of like, yeah, this could happen.
Yeah, and either version. I mean, either you have the first version come back and it'd be like, "Hey, you're back," or the one that took over the most and be like, "Oh, but we like you." Would have been powerful. Would have hurt the character, obviously a lot, but really thematically powerful. Yeah.
Skeleton Strange New Worlds #1 fan throws in $2 and says, I'd give real money if he'd shut up. I would too, and you just did. You gave real money and Sam shut up. Oh, you weren't talking about Sam. You were quoting the movie. Gotcha.
Well, speaking of, I'll get Generations and you get First Contact, and then we're back on the rhythm.
All right.
I'm going to see you on Generations, but I feel like we'll go reverse on this. Because we're going to have a debate on this one. Generations should have been all good things. No, it's okay, right? Like, they made the Enterprise not like the Enterprise, which is a terrible choice. was lit so badly relative to the show, like to what it looked like. The space siege is good. The story's weird. A rocket can't fly across the solar system, hit a star, explode. We see it in 7 seconds. It can't. So again, just doesn't work. Why is there a difference between Soren standing on a pillar on a planet versus flying into it? There isn't any. He can just fly at any moment. There's no reason. That doesn't make sense. Why doesn't Picard go back more than 1 minute earlier? That's stupid. Go back a day early. You could have really nice recycle the entire film. Didn't do it. Harriman is projected terribly, even though he's obviously he's got the Enterprise. He's a very talented officer. He's projected stupidly. The fact that Chekhov is given clearly DeForest Kelly's dialogue, like it's not even funny, right? How silly that. Good scenes, just couldn't even lever them. I don't like anything really in the house, as in why is he in a cabin? Who's this lady? Why isn't it Carol Marcus? If they brought her back for a scene, or David, you could have made that scene so much more powerful and interesting. You could have redressed the B like the Enterprise. Wrath of Khan set him on the Enterprise, or you could, or the Connie. There's so many things you could have done with this they just didn't do. And obviously killing Kirk on a bridge on a planet is shit. Like, it's sad. I like his acting because he does the best with it. And obviously he was said, we're going to kill Kirk either way, come back or... Like, he's given no choice. Obviously he did it. Good for the fans. But it's a shitty death for such an iconic character. And they couldn't even afford to give... They spent the money so poorly on a very nice looking but terribly unimportant scene on a boat. They could not even buy Jonathan Frakes a new uniform. He had to use Avery's. That's how stupid the budget was in this. They didn't even do that properly. It's just so many poor choices in this film, for me personally. There's a couple of good scenes, but this is not a good film, and not really a good story, and not a good send-off.
I agree to those last three things you said.
Okay.
But I also really personally enjoy this one.
Yes, you do.
But there are a lot of issues with it. I love that they brought Kirk back for it, but like you said, it should have been Carol Marcus instead of Antonia. Should have been so many other things. The new bridge at the Enterprise, I like that. I actually like the redesign. We just did a video about that last Saturday, so check that out if you want to. I'd
love to have seen that in normal lighting as well, just proper Canon lighting.
I kind of like the sunshine, like blowing out the 10 forward and stuff. I thought that was cool to be near a star and have that, because you never got that sense in TNG, but you would have that lighting occasionally, right? So I kind of like that a little bit. It was a little overdone, but Kirk saving the day, and I mean, the first part I really like. Harriman, again, yeah, you're right. He got the Enterprise, and he's obviously deserves it. So
it's also,
why is he such an idiot?
It's not his fault. None of the stuff was there.
Yeah,
like, he's only ship in the range of Earth.
Which is dumb.
With a ship that isn't finished, with no tech. Like, if he had 3 plans. All could have worked, right? Like, it wasn't actually his fault. I mean, Kirk with no plan would also have flustered.
And also having Tim Russ on the bridge and not be Tuvok is a missed opportunity. Would have been nice to tie Tuvok in with the Enterprise B, but
for the 4K remaster, add his ears in post.
yeah, sure. Yeah. I enjoy this one just because it's a fun watch for me, but there are some glaring issues with it. The fact that the Duras sisters being killed in a bird of prey explosion, that's the exact same bird of prey explosion that was in the last movie. What are you doing? If you're having that much issue with budget, don't update your bridge. It's still the same ship. You didn't need to update that bridge and spend that money on that, where you could have bought Jonathan Frakes a new uniform and made a new bird of prey explode.
Well, it's why I say, just don't do the goddamn sailing ship. All of the money went there. It's beautiful.
Showing off the holodeck.
Why are you paying for the entire cast of full 18th century uniforms for about 3 minutes? What the fuck were you doing? Those aren't cheap costumes. I don't think they rented them.
Did you say a slot?
Oh, D.
D?
Because of just because the thing, Final Frontier is close, but you've put it much higher. I want that for C. There's because you're killing a legend of Kirk in a terrible way. Killing Enterprise D in not a good way.
Yeah. Because I wanted to say C minus, but I mean a D is very on point with that, I think.
Now there is the stellar cartography.
Yes.
and there's some good acting, but there's too many. Like, even they would know it's not a great film, like structurally, and also, like I said, if all good things had been a movie, that would be a fucking good movie, you know. Suppose they could have made the Enterprise more different. They could have done they could have done more things with it. Like, that's a better movie than Generations. It's not even a movie, right? Yeah. So I'm D, and I still think Final Fantasy should be lower, but we'll get there. I just think it's too many problems.
People can vote right now. Where do you think it should be at? Like I said, I thought a C-, but I'm willing to put it down to a D for sure. And I really enjoy this one, but
and it's sad because Soren's great. The actor's great. His character is great, if silly. Guyman's in it. Christmas is in it.
Mm-hmm.
But this, I mean, why did they not think that this very seasoned, top-tier Starfleet captain would not think to go more than 5 minutes back in time to solve the problem? Like, it's unforgivably stupid writing. Unforgivably stupid.
Well, a lot of people are chiming in. We got a lot of D's. We got some C's. I think the D's are outplaying the.
I'm pretty strong on D. This is not. This is worse film than motion picture as a film.
I said C-.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Don't get on my case, man.
No, it's fine.
Dave and Laura, $2. Kirk takes command of the D, goes down fighting Klingons. That would have been better. Still destroy the Klingons and the Star Drive section, but with Kirk in command of the battle bridge, hell yeah, that's a much better death for Kirk. But then he wouldn't have been able to write his novels, which he never wrote in the first place. That was Judith and Garfield.
And they're great.
They are great. They are fun.
Because it's not really a crossover film. It really isn't. It's a Picard and Kirk captain film. It would have been so wonderful to have seen Kirk walk on the Enterprise D bridge and meet the cast and be like, the legacy of my Enterprise, because of me and Archer, keeps on. Oh. That not just dying on a rock face, like, and you could have easily done like, or even had like or even
Brett's here. Brett's in the chat.
Oh, hey. D, yeah. You could even have had, if they'd gone, because it could have been a really fun time travel-y thing. They could have gone back to when they arrived at Viridian, and Kirk says, "I will offer myself to exchange with Soren or with the Duras. I'll be the prisoner exchange." Because it's like, what the hell, Kirk? You know that. He would have gone to the Bird of Prey, and he could have had a fight there. He could have fought Klingons. How very classic. Or him. I say, imagine him taking the center seat of the Enterprise D and B in the same goddamn movie. Now that's legendary. And then he's the one, just like in Star Trek 3, if he goes down with a saucer and he dies in the crash because he goes to helm and he successfully crashes it and he dies in the process but saves the crew. So he goes down the ship to save the Enterprise and its crew. That would have been beautiful. He wouldn't have got a last moment because he would have been smashed to pieces in a chair and just... But character-wise, it would have been so good.
Yeah, and that would have... him dying on the... Yeah, that would have been way better, actually.
But they have officially added to the canon that there is Kirk's body in Daystrom. So there is the possibility to bring back Kirk in some non-William Shatner body.
Would have been awesome if he was on the saucer section bridge, and then in Picard, when they get back on the bridge, Picard looks at the chair for a second, and you think about Kirk. That's the last place he was where he died. Still got the chalk outline of him on the carpet.
Yeah, dear me.
It would have been more impactful in that way. So
a lot of things were impactful. Speaking of impactful, Stu, you get first contact. Congrats.
The zombie movie.
Yeah.
This is probably the best of the TNG films, in my opinion, and right away I'm going to say it probably deserves an S tier. It involves the Borg, it involves time travel, it involves a new ship, a new Enterprise, which is pretty... Oh, you already moved it.
Yep.
Why are you doing that? We're still talking about it.
Good for us.
It's... Yeah, seeing the Enterprise E was great. Although I'm not the biggest fan of the Enterprise E. I do have one on my desk right here right now. So.
Ooh, Andy, 30 or 40? Or 50 to be fair. We've done 50 before. But.
There's things I don't like about it. With this was Ensign Lynch. Fuck Ensign Lynch. You know, I was a Borg and got changed back, but this guy, screw him. He's dead. Moments like that annoy me. I hate Lily. I can't stand Lily in this. But I do like all the First Contact stuff. I like Zefram Cochrane. And the fact that Riker and Geordi were there for that first flight was just a nice little piece as well.
Do you think they were there as soon as they came back from First Contact? Do you think they went to Bozeman, Montana and like said, "Hey guys, who wants autographs? We were there too." And they told, no, we were there. Put us in the... Because there's two different museum tours that go up. There's the Cochrane original timeline and the reset timeline with Picard, and there's a fourth seat back. Got to do the ride with all of them.
Sure. Yeah, it's just a fantastic movie. First Contact with Vulcans and Earth. I mean, you can't go wrong. You get first mention of Star Trek in Star Trek. You guys are astronauts on some kind of Star Trek. Cue the credits. Yeah, there's a lot of good here, and it's a fantastic use of the characters. But like I said, I can't stand Lily. I just want to punch her in the face every time she opens her mouth. Can
you say why?
Because she's annoying as hell. I don't know why. I just hate her.
Annoying's fine.
Yes, she does call out Picard for being a dumbass, being Moby Dick. Or Captain Ahab, sorry. But honestly, I just can't stand her character. Other than that, though, it's a great movie. It's really fun, and I love the time travel aspect of it. I love the big battle at the beginning. I got some a lot of new ships there. Again, if you love ships, that's one of the reasons I like Star Trek 3.
Which we do.
Yeah, so there's a lot to love, and it's very little to not like, because we got a whole new set, whole new bridge.
Uniforms.
It's just, well, the mistakes of Deck 26 when there's no Deck 26, and then anyway, there's a few things.
We know there are ghost decks on the E. This tells every movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dave and Laura, $2. I love a good peep show. Okay.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah. So S tier for me.
Yeah.
How about you?
I mean, this is the one movie that utilizes, and this is from a me perspective, excellent miniature work, top of their game, excellent CG, top of their game at the time, in a blend that makes the CG flawlessly hold up. That shot of them on the saucer is a model shot. Yes, you can see the little glass windows with the stuff inside in and the 4K restoration. You can see it easily, but it looks incredible. The scope, ambition, scale will still be in bottle show, but they literally changed the bottle mid-show. I do think the stuff on Earth is much weaker than stuff on the ship, but that's a contrast factor, right? One has all the budget, all the atmosphere, all the acting, all the gravitas. Other one has a bit of fun and, good, but not as good. Because one is literally the hardest core Trek, one is the most prequel you could possibly get. It's removed from the Trek. It's just them in clothes talking to some people, right? But that's the point, right? It's the most prequel we've ever going to be, and weird choice for casting for Cochrane. I've still never quite got why he was cast. I think there was many better actors who could have played it more like TOS, but I get the logic of have it be not what we knew, him be a drunk that history remembers better. I don't love that for him. Never have, but it works in the film. But that's just a me thing, right? I'm fine with it. It's just it's like, oh, that's the guy. Okay, cool. Lily is okay. Again, those scenes aren't particularly interesting. Watching them crawl through the Enterprise E aren't the best scenes in the movie. They are not padding, but they're cheap scenes to help justify the big scenes, budget wise. She's okay. Like, she's not very compelling. She yells in most scenes. She doesn't have a journey to me. She's okay. But then the it's a very well thought out movie. You got the very hardcore DS9 connection with the Defiant, Worf. I think there's mention of the Dominion at the start, or the DS9 at the start. You've got the EMH from Voyager, and which is also just referenced by itself. And Ethan Phillips in it. You've got the Borg itself, very good effects with that. You've got the Queen, which is love it, hate it, very very interesting. Space Battle is very very good. hollow window, hollow view screens. Let's stare at a wall for all of the hours of the day. Great textural costumes. They're very dark, very militaristic, but that's what they're doing. The whole cast look great. They all put on weight and look older from now on. This is their kind of peak movie look. Riker looks good. Troy looks good. They're all looking good. Very well directed. All the characters do well. Some very funny scenes, some very horror scenes. I mean, obviously it's S tier, right? It's top tier Trek movie. It's also very standalone. You don't need to have seen any of TNG to get it. It helps because you understand zombies, you understand space zombies, you understand prequel warp thing. Like everything's in the movie, right? Yeah, that was not a ton bad, really. I mean, you know.
Well, Trekyards says I would put Insurrection in C, but the CGI was trash. Equals maybe a C minus.
Some of it is, yeah.
Martin Jorgensen throws in 45 krona.
Thank you.
And says, if you were any other man, I would kill you where you stand.
Yeah. Yeah. It is the start of the proper action Picard, because of course in Generations he sits on a rock, goes through a fence, gets beaten up, and then lets Kirk do the beating up, right? He's not an action hero yet. This one he's a true action hero, and it does feel odd. He's very un-Picard, but this one it works. He's being pushed to the absolute edge of his self, his morality, his sanity, and also fate of the universe. He will kill all the Borg to save the galaxy. I get it, right? And he's PTSDing. I get it. It works here fine, not so much from here onwards. But clearly an S. It's very watchable. And it feels modern, even though it's 20 years old now. It still feels, could have come out 5 years ago, happily. No dated, really, in this at all. Yeah. Really good.
96 viewers, though, which is awesome, guys.
Phenomenal.
Thank you so much for watching. 69 likes. As much as I love the number 69, I'd like to see that a lot higher. So let's try to get to 80 likes. Hit that like button if you're just joining us. And hopefully you guys will chime in. We want to hear from you guys about this kind of stuff. So super chat, please. We appreciate it. It all helps the channel.
And you guys have changed our direction as well on several of these. Proof is in the pudding of you guys' power over us. Speaking of power over us, now we're on to Insurrection.
Which I get to go. You go first.
Yes.
You go first.
Yes, because we went back on track. Nope, that's far from. Whoops.
What are you doing? Just let me do it. You talk.
Fine. Go. Insurrection. It's an interesting movie. I still maintain the moral decision is the wrong way around. I think they should be actively going against the Baku versus for them, because they're, I did my entire dissertation on this because it just seems so odd. And the entire film is literally the premise of the needs of the few outweigh the needs of the many in a war where you could be saving millions of people a day. What about those films where it's the, that saying becomes useless when you use this movie. The makeup's very good. The sound are very good.
Can you move your mouse off of the Final Frontier? I don't know if you have already, but it's got a box around it.
Yeah. The acting is actually pretty good. Brent's great in it. Picard's good in it. It's funny. There was some funny stuff with Jonathan Frakes. Marina is in it. There's boob jokes, It is an ensemble piece because they all take part in the different ensembles. I like the design work, although the CG space CG is not good and it's very strange. But you get, the captain's yacht finally used after decades. That's very, very fun. Space battles aren't bad structurally, although the fact that the E changes size many times. But, will he ram me? No. Yes, he will. Is a funny. There's some funny bits, as all these movies, when they get it right script-wise. R.Ruffle's a good actor, in a good makeup, in a good role, in a good delivery. It's just a silly premise. The Admiral, seeing a Badmiral being fully in the role, he's convicted. And the fact that, he's not a Badmiral, he's an Admiral who's been told by the Federation Council to do the mission. He's actually a good Admiral. He's doing the job that he's been sent to do. There's no conspiracy. There's no dodgy dealings. He's been told to do because he convinced the council this mission's a good idea. The way it was originally pitched, right? With the holoship and the duck blind. Not everything after, but everything's above board until the murder parts start to come in. So it's interesting, Picard's on the whatever. But like I say, I think this planet should be used to help all the people in this giant Dominion war they're doing and losing all the time. But yeah, enjoyable. There's a lot of scenes that are very rewatchable. I think there's more averagely rewatchable scenes than Final Frontier, but there aren't as many good scenes as Final Frontier. So putting Final Frontier as a B, I'll throw it in as a B because it's on par with that, certainly, if not a little bit better for averageability good, even if it hasn't got the same epicness. So yeah, I'll say a low B if Final Frontier gets a B. There you go.
So B minus.
Yeah, and they built an entire village, which was great. Weird, but great.
I want to say C because I don't enjoy this one. I find all the Baku stuff really boring. The space stuff is pretty good. I mean, again, you've got different visual effects. You got the manual control column comes up, but using the ram scoops to suck in matter was really great in blowing that out.
Some real strategy going on.
Picard doesn't work as an action hero, hands down. This one had Admiral Janeway, which was a nice touch as well. Got to add that. I want to say a C for this one. Just I don't find it enjoyable. I don't like Raffle as a. I mean, he's a good actor and a good character, sure, but I don't like him as a bad guy. The motivation is odd to me. I still don't really 100% understand the story. They're the same people, but they're not because they stayed on the planet and for the Federation, Starfleet wouldn't do that with the metagenic rings. They wouldn't try to relocate these people and use it for the Federation. Very conspiracy-like, and I don't like that. The Admiral's just a dick, but Badmiral, right? I don't know. There's a lot about this I don't like. I would much rather watch The Final Frontier over this one. So I would give this happily a C+, and you're a B-.
Yes. Because I would rather watch this than Final Frontier.
I'd rather watch Generations over this one.
I would always rather watch this than Generations. Generations is just sad what they did to Kirk and such.
So you guys have to help us out with this one.
Because this is like I say, Final Frontier for me is a C, then this could be a C. If it's B, it's a B. It's on a similar par of there's plenty of not so good, plenty of good.
Let us know your rankings.
And it's I find an odd complaint that, it's an episode. It's like, yeah, Trek was an episode. Like, yes, it's a bigger budget feeling episode. Oh no, it's like the two parters that you get in the show. And then you get people complaining, oh, you want, you don't want the big bad of the week. This is kind of not exactly that, because our Arthur is part of it. There's more layers, etc. The scout ship's good.
Dave and Laura, $2. Do you find your boobs are getting firmer?
Yes.
And Sergeant Montgomery, $2. This is a great made-for-TV movie. C+ or B-.
But it's funny because if the CG was better, it would feel more like a movie. There's not much holding it back because they built an entire village, which looks great. So you wouldn't have done a TV budget. The mountain shots look great. The sets are good. There's nothing wrong with the sets. The whatever. I still love the fact that the blue wrap around. It's like, oh, we'll make that a blue screen set. Nah, we'll just make it a blue set. What? Yeah, I won't do the comp. But certainly the end is weird. But then so is Final Frontier fighting rock monsters or just God in a little. Weird is not necessarily the problem.
Looks like C's winning out, so we'll put it at C.
Sure.
Which is, C's and D's for the. Anybody else want to chime in? Do you think it's a B? I mean, got a B-.
Like I say, it's just because Final Frontier. I'd have been fine with a C if that was a C.
I know you really like this one though. You have a soft spot for this one.
I'm happy to give it a C. Just it's on par, if not better than Final Frontier. So that's the problem with the contrastness.
Okay.
Oh, it's been very fun to recreate some of it in another fan film of mine. That's been quite fun. Do some shots in between. And there's a scene that's after it as well, which is quite fun.
All right. Well, I'll leave it as C for now. Let's move on to the next one, Nemesis.
Yes.
The movie that almost ended Tom Hardy's career because he got so depressed over this because of the reaction to it, and filming it wasn't pleasurable. And Patrick Stewart even said that the actor has no future, which is a bit of a shame.
Didn't even know that. Jesus.
Yeah. This one, I enjoy the space battle at the end. I love the Mutar Nebula type feel of it. Plus, going up against the Scimitar was really great. Good firewall
Predator.
cloaked. Got some very nice shots of it getting hit and parts of it like decloaking. Other than that, it's kind of garbage. I hate the Scorpion fighters. I hate that whole scene. The Argo, I mean, interesting idea, and fun. I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to do some kind of fun, funny thing. It didn't quite work for me. Shinzon, the whole idea of cloning Picard was kind of dumb. And I love the picture of Captain Picard at the Academy that was bald. Did you not pay attention to the canon? He was not bald when he was younger, unless he went through a phase where he shaved his head. And then
the Enterprise is old, Stuart. At least 20 years.
Yep. Matthew DeFritas, $2. Give Nemesis at least a D. It came out on my birthday.
Happy birthday to you and Nemesis.
Yeah, I was thinking D for it personally anyway, so I'm glad that's why I read that one, because I was just going to say I would say D spot, because I hate the way that the N is used. Ron Perlman as the Viceroy or whatever was creepy. Seeing the Remans was interesting, but it just felt they were out of their depth. They were trying to do something horror based, and it didn't quite come across. It didn't fit into what Star Trek was in my opinion. The Data saving Picard scene was kind of cool. I like the Therion radiation device as well. It's a neat idea. But again, I'm not a fan of the Scimitar design as a whole. New Romulan ships at the end, which is great. Captain Dinatra. Captain Dinatra was cool. Liked her. Want to see more of her.
Or less of her if you've seen Starship Troopers, of course.
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah. I guess it'd be Commander Dinatra. She's not a captain. She's a commander, because they have commanders and sub-commanders. But anyway, yeah, not one of my favorites. For me, it's a D. Just it's too dark. It's a very dark movie to watch, and I don't get a lot of enjoyment out of watching it. It has its moments, sure, but there we go. Here comes the fight. All right, what do you think about Nemesis?
Well, it's just interesting because we watched this together on your sofa, and we both walked away saying we liked it more than we thought we did. And all that feeling has now been lost from what you just said. You just basically shit on it when we were very positive about it, enjoying it together. So I'm kind of surprised that you've reset back to having not just watched it feelings.
I think that was the last time I watched it.
But we both enjoyed it way more.
I don't remember us both enjoying it very much. I remember enjoying it more than I thought I would.
Yeah, way more than you thought you did. That's what I mean.
But it still doesn't make it a good movie.
So the problem with this is it's kind of what Wrath of Khan could have been if the director hadn't done research and tried to make Star Trek. Because this is the first film for a while which is just poorly directed as a film by an editor, first time directing, who instant choice was to give Worf the wrong voice because he thought, let's change that. Now obviously I say that, but like Rusty Davis is changing Davros along existing canon. These fuckers think they can do that, and they're fine to, so but things like that. But the E looks great in Nemesis, the Scimitar looks great in Nemesis, the threat is excellent in Nemesis. The idea of a ship that can kill a planet is works well as a Doomsday thing because it is kind of a god ship, and yet they find a way of killing it. There's a satisfaction actually where they get pulled all the way down from, we're doomed, and that moment when they're chasing them at warp, you feel that, oh no. Like there's a really, it does feel like a Predator. The success of the setup is very successful. And then, yes, the two Valdors, I'm sure we'll be fine. 3 minutes later, well, we're all destroyed, screwed. Like there's a really nice pacing of that last battle, which is weird for a big battle. Dinatra's great, the Senate's a great scene, very sad, and then to see Picard in the Senate room be all like, this would have been a proud moment, the first human in the Senate building, except you murdered everybody and now I'm... Reman's great concept, weirdly executed, not bad, just weird. All the questions, are they actually Romulans that were sent to Remus? Are they a separate subspecies that don't know? Do they care? Shinzon himself, good actor, playing an interesting part. But unlike if they had gone originally for Patrick Stewart playing Shinzon, it would have been a true mirror of Picard, and you would have gained that I see into my mirror. This, however, came across as, here is an actor playing a Picard that could have been with so little relative Picard, because he's not trying to be Picard, he's being Remanized Shinzon. There's so much of a remove from the mirror idea that you don't get that clone feeling. Even though the acting's good and interesting, you lost that entire drive. It makes sense, of course, because he was cloned 20 years ago. Fine, that's all makes sense. The wedding is very satisfying, although cheap. The backdrop, whatever, but it's nice. You know, they throw in Wesley without knowing or caring about the canon. Traveller, who cares? He's now here, whatever. Guinan's there because why not? They're never back again. Wasteful. Argo is dumb. Patrick Stewart, they start listening to him and he kept putting bad ideas. I would cut all the Argo stuff, or at least maybe one scene, like one little bit of it. That's the crash is excellent, very, very well done. The battles is very well done. The ending isn't what I want to see, but it's very sweet and poignant. But then obviously they kill before after, so it all loses the strength now because he never comes back because of it. Like, it's weird. Picard changes Nemesis heavily. And it really needed another movie. Score, like, it's trying to do big things, right?
Yes.
But see, that's the thing. It's bigger than Insurrection, right? It was less good movie. But I think Insurrection should be higher. So I guess a D, but I would say a high D because it's not bad. It's just not working.
Yeah, D plus is fine. I would rather watch Insurrection over Nemesis. Well, I say that, but I like the battles in Nemesis.
And it's a very long battle, so it's not as if it's like a 3-minute battle saves a whole film. It's like a good 20 minutes at the end.
Yeah.
It's just a bad choice of director. Like, if Frakes had done it, and I've heard all the damn time the original script was better and longer.
That was this.
And there's loads of deleted scenes, and some of them are really sweet. Like the end, it has a kind of Return of the King ending. There's a scene with Beverly and a scene with, a whole lot of stuff. It's like there's lots of components here that can make it a C, but then it's worse than Insurrection, so I'm going by, unfortunately now the chart has to determine slightly where it is, etc.
Yeah, well, let me read some super chats to get caught up, because Skeleton Strange World's #1 fan throws in $5, and this is talking about Insurrection.
Mm-hmm.
The Picard Admiral debate in his ready room was a great moral debate scene. The rest of the movie, Fleet Paw, $5. Nemesis is an F-. Oof. Sorry, there are a few things good about it, like the Battle of the Bazin Rift, Valdor Werber's Denatra, but it's shit besides that. Ooh, that's kind of harsh. Fran Morith Booth throws in $2. D tier had some good spots, but too dark. And Skeleton Strange New World's #1 fan, $5. Movie with a great scene. Picard trying to inspire Hardy on the floor of the Romulan Senate is a great optimistic Trek scene. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And it's, they go to Romulus. We hadn't seen it in that way, in that scope, ever before. Start off with a gorgeous shot of Romulus. Like, there's loads of elements here that are so impressive, right? And to the universe of Star Trek, and the fact that this is the movie that gives us peace with Romulans. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, having the chasm at the bottom of the ship.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for reminding me about that. That's just god awful.
Again, that's the director, because he had a final say and all that stuff. Like, Frakes would know not to do that, / whatever.
Well, there's a lot of votes for D in the regular chat, so I think we're good on that one.
Yeah.
Now we have 4 movies left, guys. 4 movies? Yes, 4 movies.
Mm-hmm.
But hit that like button if you haven't. We have 96 people here, almost 100, and we only have 78 likes. I would like to get up to 80, as I said, so only 2 more. So hit that like button. But this has been really fun so far. Kind of surprising. And... but yeah, 4 more movies to go.
And now we're going to go into the next generation, Stuart. Star Trek 2009. A middle finger to the Trek community. A middle finger to your intelligence. A middle finger to the TOS cast. But a fun film. But the script's bad. The Kelvin's terrible. Doesn't make sense logically. Half nacelle, firing the 8 warp cores, having
half nacelles into darkness.
Okay, whichever. It's a really bad Star Trek movie. Just bottom tier Star Trek movie. It's a good movie if you don't think about it at all. And the fact there's been joke videos about all the plot holes, like 5-10 years later, it's so poorly scripted. It's ridiculous. Great casting.
Yeah.
And ILM.
Great casting, great special effects, but it's a fun action movie. It's a fun popcorn summer action movie.
It's very Transformers.
It is, and yeah, we're gonna put it right where it belongs. I thought about putting it a little bit higher, but JJ kind of ruined it. He didn't care about Star Trek, and it kind of shows. And
at least about real Star Trek, not his Star Trek.
Yeah, there are moments in it that are funny, like, you know, like the cast is good, and
that's not a moment, Stuart.
They have some funny moments. Like, I was getting there.
Okay.
Like, I like this ship. You know, that Scotty moment. There are some fun things like that. Quinto does a pretty good job of Spock.
Just bad direction.
Kirk doesn't feel like Kirk to me.
Was promoted while being a cadet. You can't do that. Stupid. You can't do it. It just doesn't. You can't do it. Like, no.
Yeah.
Oh, and the brewery, of course, brewery engine room.
Oh, fuck me sideways. Yeah.
Vulcan being within lookable distance of a planet that we know is at the edge of this. It's just.
Dave and Laura at $2, ugliest Enterprise ever.
Oh yeah,
yes.
Awful Enterprise. Lens flares that were just pathetic. That just stupid. He's just a stupid man, right? Like, way to date it. Way to do it so weird that you have to literally remove them and spend tens of thousands removing them in the second film. Yeah, like I say, this is a terrible Trek movie. If that's what we're going by, it's a terrible, terrible Trek movie.
Yes.
Any other director, any other writers with this budget and cast, it should have been gold. Because those are gold standard people.
Yeah.
And they entirely butchered the source material. And there's a reason why this hasn't lived on. Like, you know, the amount of money they burned into these films, and yet there isn't a life to these films. You know.
But 4 is coming. Don't you keep reading the articles, Sam?
Yep. Yeah. You know, like, because if you put a D, it's an insult to Nemesis, right? Nemesis is much better. Generation is much better. Like,
okay, yeah, in a Star Trek movie sense, yes, absolutely. But for fun movie that people that might not know a lot about Star Trek but still know about Star Trek, this is a fun action movie. But as for Star Trek, that's why it's at the F tier for us. I just want to explain that. Because people might say that they'd rather watch this than some of the other ones.
Well, and that's the irony. If you're going with a modern audience, Wrath of Khan would be a lot lower because the action's too slow. Because it is. Voyage Home, you wouldn't get it. And it feels dated. It now feels like an 80s film. That would be much lower. If you're going by pure modern today, 12-year-old, right? Like, pure that. Star Trek 09 would be up there. Probably the best of the entire list, right? First Contact you could probably get away with because it's zombies, but that would be the best. But that's not a good thing. Because that's just the least Star Trek, right?
Yeah, and this is a Star Trek movie rankings list. We pointed that at the beginning. So 101 people watching now. We have over 100 viewers. Awesome. Hit that like button. We have 85 likes. I'd like to get to 100 now. So we can do it with enough people here. You can do it. Hit that like button.
And Hypno, I totally disagree. It was a good movie and deserves better. It's a different damn timeline. But that doesn't affect the script being bad. And the plot holes. Like, plot holes aren't universe-based. Right?
Or the changes to the timeline before they get to the changed timeline. What? Yeah. Just younger people will see this higher in the list. That's all I'm saying. I just wanted to point that out because people are gonna get rubbed the wrong way when they see that. So.
But Nemesis, Generations, and Insurrection are boring movies even with the old viewers. At least they respect sometimes the characters' canon, lore, legacy. And not. Respect's important.
And speaking of respect,
Oh,
Into
God.
Darkness is next.
Good luck.
I watched this one not that long ago and turned my brain completely off. I enjoyed the hell out of this as an action film, but as a Star Trek movie, it's garbage. I am Khan.
Who?
Who? What happened?
Who are you?
Khan, that's a funny name.
But you're
I've
white.
heard that before.
Why are you white? Khan was Indian. / Mexican.
It's F.
And he
This is the
lost.
worst. This is worse than 2009. Because even Brett said if 2009 is F, where are you going to put Into Darkness? F minus, I guess. And Dan Ben says I like Keenser. Who the hell is? Why would you introduce this new character as Scotty's buddy? Like that is J.J. Abrams trying to get a Yoda moment.
He also
Some kind of fun.
But he GNDN. He goes nowhere, does nothing. He's entirely irrelevant. Entirely meaningless. What do you mean you like him? He doesn't do anything. He has no part of any of the stories. He's a pet.
He's got cool little eye stalks.
Does he?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't even know that. I've seen the design. I thought they were all in his head.
No, they're little eye stalks like a little crab. And they move.
Okay. Sorry, it's honest.
I'm done. It's a fun action. It's another popcorn summer blockbuster. You go to the theater, watch it, have a good time with an action movie, and you walk out and you don't think about it again. But to do the Khan twist, and it's not Khan, his name's John Harrison, and then this is the one that brings up the aft nacelle. I mean, Admiral Marcus is kind of great as a character, not really. Carol Marcus, I mean, the underwear scene should raise it up with Tad. It raises something up, but it's not enough to budge the movie. As we've said, one scene doesn't necessarily work for that, and a lot of people hate that scene. So it's where I'm putting it. Do you disagree? Should it be moved, Sam?
So Into Darkness benefits from the fact that it's entirely its own universe, which helps, right? Now, of course, if the first film had been this, with no link, then it would have had a lot more leeway to play. But you still have Spock, you still have all these things going on, you know, the idea that why would new Spock think that Khan is important enough to phone old Spock? That implies he's phoning for every single alien as if they know him.
Yeah.
He's not doing that. There's no reason to think this guy is super special in this regard. To his timeline, there's no reason for that at all. This film is also giantly plot hole filled. I mean, it's embarrassing as a scriptwriter. I mean, it's been mocked for a decade. It's absolutely embarrassing as a film.
You can fly the Vengeance through those plot holes.
Yeah.
So big.
A lot of the stuff's just there because it looks cool, but as soon as you go past that, there's nothing below there. The fact that it is a creatively bankrupt retread of Wrath of Khan, which while I like the idea of swapping who dies, the fact that it feels like a copy led all of us to believe, oh, really, they've got a brand new universe, why are they doing the same stories again? Oh, because they were popular, because you can't write good stuff yourself. That's not a good thing. The intro, the cold fusion volcano, is just a trash opening. It's so stupid. A child wrote it, and then a masterful CGI people made it. It's just horrible as a scene. And yet again, the casting is excellent. Carol Marcus, wonderfully cast as a plucky, smart scientist who's engaging to listen to and look at, and you buy smart. She actually does have all those traits. Amazing. Underused, poorly used. Why does she run to the bridge? Captain, the Avengers, the Trekyards at war. The hell are you running to the bridge? Or, Captain, Carol to the bridge. Stupid. Beyond stupid. You can't warp to Kronos spelt wrong in the afternoon. You can't. You can't do it. You can't beam to Kronos. And doesn't matter if in a book they say they beam to a shuttle, he then warp there. That didn't happen in the movie. That's not canon. Again, illogical dislogic. And it would have been lovely if he had been John Harrison, the Section 31 agent who hated the Klingons. Cool! Super. Great idea for a villain. Top secret. Federation gone rogue. Fantastic. And the fact he lied to the audience is embarrassing as well, because you just do Khan worse.
Let's not forget Spock getting in a fist fight.
Yep. Just awfully written.
Spock-like.
But both films he got in a fist fight.
And let's not forget Kirk dying. Oh no! And then instantly undone by Tribble Blood.
Well,
In the
calm
next
blood
scene.
tested on Tribble, yeah.
Yeah, it takes away all power from that scene. Plus, they're just replicating the scene of Spock dying in Wrath of Khan. Very copy and paste and very poorly done.
Yeah, why would you think that human blood can go inside Tribble and heal it? They haven't got anything similar to us. They probably haven't got veins. They've got their own weird thing. Why would that be a thing? Why would that be? And there's no retcon of it either. It just is. There's an infinite cure to death. It's just stupid. Why did Khan put his pill in torpedoes, then maybe launch and blah 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 blah? Stupid. The Avengers are goddamn horrible design. It's so misproportioned. The bridge is disgustingly black and horrible.
Section 31. That's why.
Why is there a cargo hatch the size of my window on a ship the size of New York's skyscraper? The fuck is wrong with you people? And the fact that Kurtzman ended up leading the entire Trek franchise is a testament to stupidity in Hollywood. He was a terrible writer, terrible story idea, and it's a terrible, terrible film for those regards. But it's a fun action, very peppy, very bouncy, very scene by scene. The action's great, the shooting's great, the space scenes are great, but it's not Star Trek. It just isn't Star Trek. It's failing on every regard as a Star Trek film. Double F. No, I mean F. I mean, yeah.
Skeleton Strange New Worlds #1 fan, $5. I hate beaming people across the universe. I hate beaming people into the Enterprise from a Vulcan moon, or beaming Khan from Earth to Kronos. Hate. Yeah, let's not forget that in 2009. The
Transwarp beaming.
Seeing Vulcan from Delta Vega, where Delta Vega in TOS was out in the middle of nowhere, desert planet, sandstorms. But no, this one's it's Vulcan is a warm planet, close to the sun. Delta Vega, you can see Vulcan from the surface of Delta Vega apparently, and it's a goddamn ice moon. That's for 2009.
And you can't retcon that because of a different universe. That doesn't explain why a planet is in a different place. Doesn't.
And it's even the same name, Delta Vega. It's the same. It's supposed to be the same planet. Fleet Paw Swiftback, $5. 2009 is a D. It's a pity D, only because Into Darkness was far worse. Into Darkness is an F minus minus minus. Beyond is a C, maybe low B on a good day. Yeah, we're gonna bring that in now. The best of the Kurtz or the JJ films. Star Trek Beyond. This is the best one. Not only because the Enterprise gets its throat slit, which I cheered in the theater for, seeing the nacelles get detached, seeing the literally the throat, the neck just gets sliced, and just loved it. I loved it. That's what that ship deserved. But this is the most Star Trek feeling of the movies. The little bit with Kirk at the beginning, kind of like lamenting his age and what he's been doing, and I kind of love it. The uniforms are better. It just has more of a actual Star Trek feel to it. And the end, having the Enterprise A appear, much better design, smaller nacelles, proportioned correctly. They're spaced far enough apart. Don't get to see any of it, really. You see it flying around in the end credits. And will we ever see it? I don't know. Probably not. But much better feeling Star Trek film easily. Getting the Franklin was nice. It's a little bit odd that it was a ship of that era that had a motorcycle and things, but still, I mean, there's some stupidness in this film as well.
I mean, Archer has a dog on his ship. That's also stupid, right? It's personal possessions. Yeah. It's he watches water polo. It's also stupid, right? I'm just saying, like, some guys
had. It's not a personal possession. It's, if you look at the blueprints or the cutaway of that ship, there's actually supposed to be a bike on each ship as like a vehicle, auxiliary vehicle.
Well, that's not. Well, they don't say that though. But that's interesting that I didn't know that. But I just thought it's just the captain just had a car because why not? But,
regardless, the beaming in it is stupid. Like grabbing what's her name, Jala.
Yeah.
In midair and beaming and smashing down on the transporter pad. Still lots of stupidity, but a better movie than the last two, and does not deserve an F. That's where I'm going to leave it. What do you think about this one?
I mean, it's much better than a lot of these films because it's actually a good movie. Irrespective of how good a Trek movie it is, it's actually a good movie. The script's solid, the acting's solid. It's another megalomaniacal doomsday thing, but the slow pulling away of the makeup's good, although misuse of Idris Elba, he's not very good in it. Like, he's fine, but could have been better, whatever. Franklin's interesting. The fact they tried with the uniforms to make NX hybrids is fun, good for them. The base is a fun idea, although of course you wouldn't put your most advanced space station next to an unknown, but a space you never explored to then finally explore it if that space station took like 5 years to make, etc. But the acting's much better. I liked Spock and McCoy together as a duo; they were good. Scotty's great in it. Chekhov gets to do stuff. Jayla's good in it; she's fun. Having them, on the saucer's fun. I think it's a goo. It's a goo, isn't it? And then I think it's a goo that is a bioweapon. The swarm ships are fine. The Beastie Boys is dumb, but I mean, it makes sense from a space structural point of view. It's a resonance of a it's like I'm breaking glass. Like, if that's stupid, every other thing where you've done that is stupid, and that's happening in so many good films. I'm not gonna discredit them. I just want to have a bit of fun with it.
Yorktown Station being looking like a fragile Christmas ornament, and being so close to the nebula, which was unexplored, and there's a lot of stupid in it as well. But it's better than the other two. It's an improvement. It feels more Trek-like. You will agree with that, right?
No, well, I've always said that for sure.
Yeah, okay.
Because I'm trying, like, I know I enjoy it as a film, but it's on a different spectrum to the other ones. Like, this is a better film than Generations or Nemesis, hands down. Better made, better scripted, in the generalities of film. The fact that it has more Trek compared to the other two is the contrast factor. If this is the first one they'd made, you'd be like, okay, good first try. But because it's next to trash, it looks better. I want to give it a C or a B, because I think it's a better film than motion picture, Insurrection, Generations, and Nemesis.
I would agree.
Doesn't make it Star Trek, but I'm not bored watching it. I would watch it again for pleasure, which I wouldn't do for motion picture. I wouldn't do for Generations. Nemesis maybe, Insurrection sometimes. It's a better film than Final Frontier for sure, but is it their Star Trek? Yes, of course. I'm happy to give it a low B or a very high C, but they were trying, genuinely trying, and it's a good script. And there's India there, and I want to give it a B.
I'm just looking at compared to the movies in the tiers below it, and I'd much rather watch it than some of the other ones. That being said, the other one, well, I'm more inclined to put it in a C slot, but I'm happy with it in the B slot. B for Beyond.
It's just, it's better than Final Frontier as a film. So it, like, again, that's the sticker for me, right?
Mm-hmm. That's fair. I'm fine to put it in B, but I personally would probably think C. But oh well, that's fine. What do you guys think? B or C for Beyond?
And this again, make a good film, review it well. It's a hell of a jump.
Mm-hmm. C, B. Okay, there's one for each. More votes, please. 105 of you here now. We're still not at 100 likes. We have 92 likes. Hit that like button, guys.
Because it's interesting, because obviously they're mentioning, like we said, the Yorktown plot holes, but Final Frontier has lots of plot holes too, right? Lots of plot holes and lots of stupid. So that, those, so as Insurrection, so as motion picture, they all do have plot holes. That's not. There are other things then you've got to bring into the equation, etc.
C, 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 D, C, C, C. B is fine. C, C. Oh, it looks like C is winning out. Eric Martin, $5. Beyond is a B, but V is a C, and I can sign off. No, you can't. There's one more movie left.
Yes, stay with us.
I'm inclined to move it down to a C just based on the votes here. Got an F, you got a D, got a C, another B.
D, since it's like Trek but shit. But I'd rather watch it than a lot of the other ones. Certainly, I'd rather watch the motion picture.
I say we move it to a C slot. I know you like it better than Final Frontier, but
It's a better movie.
Look at all the C's. I know, but we said before we're basing this on Star Wars or Star Trek.
Yep, based on Star Wars. It's S.
So is Star Trek?
But then it should be a D, and like Insurrection should be a B because it's an episode. Motion picture should be an S. You know what I mean? Like all the things are coming together. We agree to be everything put together one. Oh, thank you, Matthew. But that is this coming year.
Some D's. Let's
last one, then we can negotiate.
And the final one we're going to talk about today is Galaxy Quest.
F, if we're going on pure Trekness, because it's not Star Trek.
It's more of a Star Trek movie than Star Trek 2009 is.
It's not a Star Trek movie, though.
Star Trek 2009 is more of a parody than Galaxy Quest is by any stretch of the imagination.
It's not Star Trek, so F. Hence why I'm not going to put
that. Okay, well, don't get it off the chart then. I won't talk about it.
Oh, no, that's the thing. It is a Trek movie in its heart and soul. Because we're rating it as a movie.
Why are you saying that?
I know. I'm just rating what people said. Galaxy Quest. Oh, is that me or you?
It's you. Go ahead.
Okay. I mean, legendary movie. It benefits from having a sequel of any kind because it works on its pedestal of standalone greatness. Incredible cast, incredible space effects, incredible script, incredible guest cast, incredible alien makeup on every front, and use of good CG, rock, right where that was just good enough to work and still hold up. Excellent. Excellent but simple sets with the wonderful caveat that the not Telosians, Nemoidians, what are they called?
The Thermians.
Thermians. They were recreating a shitty 80s TV show budget set. So they could do simple basic sets and still look great, just better shot. Genius. And the sets look great. I mean, you can't speak highly enough of the cast. The meta-ness of knowing it's a fake sci-fi movie becomes a real movie, becomes a real story, becomes a real sci-fi movie. You know, I just say the computer. I'm just repeating the computer, but then that ended up being a useful thing because everyone's doing their own job. Everyone has a job. It's very logical. Just Guy. I mean, Guy. Has his own arc. Happy Ever After with the lady and Guy from Office is there. I mean, there's not only maybe the bit with the beryllium sphere drags a little bit, but it's still engaging, interesting, looks good, funny. It's just a little bit slower and abstract as the movie. But that's really it. I maybe the stuff in the kids' room is not amazing, but it's still good.
It's very relatable.
Very relatable, yeah.
Yeah, I want to. I always watch this with a filter. I put like William Shatner on Tim Allen, and because I think it would be hilarious to see this with the actual Trek cast. So I really, this is a fantastic movie. They've really incorporated a lot of what made Trek and the fans, and I love that. And yeah, the effects are fantastic, and it is such a fun film. I would be upset if they made a sequel, which I think they wanted to do, or they want to do a TV series or something.
Well, it's moved to a TV series because it lost.
For me, the TV series is the Orville. I could see the Orville and Galaxy Quest being in the same universe, honestly.
Yeah.
But where does it sit though in the ranking? It's very enjoyable to watch. I want to slap it on between S and A somewhere.
Well, vote now, guys, because we'll see that as soon as we rank it. I mean, as a movie, it's as good as Wrath of Khan, Voyage, Home, and First Contact.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I don't think his lack of Trekkiness should bring it down, because Gene Roddenberry didn't like Undiscovered Country, because it's racisty and negatively and war-y, so that's less Trek than... in fact, Galaxy Quest is more hopeful than Undiscovered Country is. And First Contact is certainly more dark than Trek should be. So, in a Trek regards, it's definitely S. That's the joke about the ranking, right? It's a better movie than Undiscovered Country and Search for Spock. It's a better sci-fi movie than both of them. So, I mean, it's one of the all-time definitives, and it came just at the right time.
Let's slap it right there. I think that's perfectly fair.
Yeah, I'm going to make a tiny addition, tiny movement. I'm going to do... There we go. Now I'm done. Moved it by 10% more. That's clever. I quite like that. Didn't he do that?
Yeah.
And it's such a good design for a ship as well. NES, not NTS, not the Enterprise. NTE. Like that's the part of the registry.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to put it as an S, but I mean, it's not Trek, so it's right there.
So it makes sense that it gets the in-between slot because it's not truly Trek.
Yeah, and sideways because it's just a caveat. It's a last-minute addition.
You super chat it into existence. I would watch that for fun, and I'm so pissed I haven't made a 4K yet because those miniature shots in 4K are gonna look so nice. Oh my god, yeah, really, 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 really nice. Yeah, a lot of work though.
Well, that's it, guys. That's the movies. We're running over our 2-hour mark, and I gotta go do things. So that was a fun discussion. Should things be bumped a little? I mean, people are saying move the motion picture, but I don't think it deserves it. Some could be jiggered a little bit, but overall, I'm happy with this final ranking.
Guys, vote now. And as I said, I would move Final Frontier down 1, and I'd put a motion picture director's cut in B to give 2 versions. That'd be my tweaks.
Director's cut changes things a bit, so
there should be 2 of that in the scale. But I'm happy with the first 2. I feel sad putting.
I'm gonna copy it. And, just do this
because it is a better movie.
Director's cut.
It is.
Why did it not?
Yeah, because it does improve it. It becomes. It harnesses so many good elements, and it's certainly as good as Final Frontier, the director's cut, for certain things.
Yeah.
I do feel bad for 09 slightly being an F. It can need to be an F and a double F, really. But then 09 pisses me off in different ways. So it's all variable. It depends what pisses you off at different times of different films.
Yeah, exactly.
Or like if Repenthe they might be very boring that day. Because it is very draggy. What do you guys think? This is your last chance.
Yeah.
And
I'm trying to add director's cut, but I can't figure out quite how to do it. That's okay.
The poll, 101 votes. Is there a singular favourite movie or joint favourites? As the only option. 40%, lots of bests. Cool. God, very close to everything. 2 are joint in your regard. And 30% 1. So they're incredibly split. Fascinating.
Yeah. All right, guys. I think we'll call it there. But this was fun discussion. I really enjoyed this one.
We're going to go into more of the details, but that's the thing you can read. Like, we didn't have to do any research on this. We knew all of the stuff. Let's be honest. This we can just go in and do, which is nice.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
And yes, Drunkyards this Saturday, for sure. I certainly want to do another live tomorrow. Can't on Friday. Things and bobs. Saturday, Drunkyards, do join in. Doctor Who is a live event across the world, so watch Doctor Who and then come and get drunk with us as we discuss that and many other things. Marie will be here, so your chance to embarrass me, Olivia.
Yeah.
There's a big chance.
Yeah, there we go. Brett has helped us out. There.
Hey!
Motion Pictures Director's Cut.
Good man. Excellent.
Good way to end.
And go think in the chat what rankings you want to see most next. I want to do Star Wars soon because I think that'd be like this, but a bit broader. I think that'd be really interesting. We'll be less personal on that because Star Wars. But what else would you like to see? Let us know to Drunkyards. Maybe we can do like a back and forth on what you guys could suggest. We can make a list of things we could do some research, get some prep. That'd be really fun. Thanks guys for being really strong on this. Really makes a giant difference. Thank you so much. Please join us for Saturday. I think it'll be a really fun one. Workshops and Doctor Who stuff. Who knows?
Start without me because I gotta watch the Doctor Who thing because you guys are gonna be talking about it. So.
Oh no! Well, it's simulcast, so you watch it at the same time.
Yeah, I know, but I gotta find out where to watch it and stuff.
Disney
I'll figure
Plus.
it out. Cool.
Yeah, that easy.
Eric Martin, $5. I can live with it overall, but V seems too high for me. Oh, Star Trek 5.
Erica said
Yeah,
that before.
I'm sure a lot of people would say that. But anyway, we will leave it there. Thank you so much for watching, guys. You all matter. You're all cool. Hit the like button if you haven't. I want to get to 100 likes. We only need 5 more, but you do that while we're heading out here and also after the fact.
And remember, you did super chat and change your results slightly. You did play a part in this, so
yes,
this is very powerful for you guys.
So thank you, guys.
Thank you.
So until next time, he is Commander Cox.
He's Captain Foley.
See you later.
Bye, guys.